So in many a Sanji fight, there is a mental hurdle for Sanji that he has to overcome. For example, when he's fighting Mr. 2, he has to find a way to get around Mr. 2 turning into Nami because of course he doesn't kick women. Or in the Davy Back fight, he has to work together with Zoro, burying their rivalry so that they can defeat Pickles, Hamburg, and Big Pan. And another time, more recently, is in Wano, in which he is fighting Queen, who is an amalgamation of all of his trauma with his family, as Queen has the power of all the German suits except for Reiju. And I think that's intentional. One, because Reiju was the prototype, but for two is that Reiju is the only sibling that was ever nice to Sanji. So it's both convenient from a narrative standpoint and from a in lore standpoint that her powers are not counted within Queen's moveset. However, spoilers for Elbaf, but in Elbaf currently, Sanji is up against Killingham. And I think the road to him unlocking Conqueror's Haki is going to be fueled by some sort of mental trauma that Killingham places before him. Because, of course, Killingham, in being the user of the Dragon Fruit mythical type model Kirin, can produce creatures known as sleep tides from the nightmares of the people in the surrounding vicinity. So, keeping that in mind, even though he is an awakened Zoan, he hasn't been able to pull out personal nightmares from a person unless they are asleep. However, the interesting thing is that he can actually make nightmares from his own mind manifest without sleeping, as after the Omen enhancement by Emu, he actually manifests a sleep tide in the shape of the rain deity Zaza. So that could open the door for him to possibly be able to create sleep tides from waking people, though we'll have to wait and see. However, with that being said, another very interesting theme that occurs in some notable Sanji fights, but not in all of them, is that the enemy in question copies someone or a multitude of people that Sanji knows or Sanji holds dear. So in the Mr. 2 fight, Mr. 2 copies both Usopp and more effectively Nami. And in the Queen fight, Queen has all the powers of the various raid suits held by the German siblings and Sanji himself, except for Reiju. He doesn't have Reiju's powers. But that's a very interesting theme that I think will be continued here in the Killingham fight, because I think it will be possible for Killingham to presumably pull out people from Sanji's subconscious in order to throw Sanji off of his game. Namely, the Straw Hats and the crew at the Baratier. Those are the two big groups I'm thinking. I keep thinking about him copying the Germa, but I don't think that would be effective. If anything, he'll use the Germa as a distraction, but they'll be dispatched quickly. But what will give Sanji pause is him copying the Straw Hats or the crew at the Baratier, and this pause will then turn into rage because it would seem as though Killingham is mocking the visage of people that he holds dear. So, in response, Sanji will burst into an Ifrit-colored inferno, similar to the inferno that he burst into as a joke way back in Thriller Bark. But I don't think that was a joke. I think that was actually real, based on how pyrokinesis just seems to be associated with him now. So, he'll have an Ifrit burst of inferno around his body, and I think from defending the visages of his loved ones, he'll unlock Conqueror's Haki. Because I do think there are many ways in one can be a king. So we'll see if his path to kinghood is that of a kind king, one who protects others and protects the dignity of others, perhaps. Because one thing that Sanji has been marked by throughout the story of One Piece is his kindness, and you see this through the various times that he gives people food, like the mouse in his childhood, or Gin back on the Baratier, or Luffy several times throughout the narrative. So I could see that being the thing, and I think that would be really neat. But with that being said, that's all I have for you today. If you're enjoying the video so far, give me a like. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button followed by that bell so you never miss a video. In addition to, if you could, hit the hype button because it really does help. And with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. Waxy!